Hey, Liberty Heights family.
Hey guys, this is Pastor Chris here with Pastor Kyle. Hoping you can see me. We're on a new platform for me, Kyle. So
Yeah,
we are practicing social distancing, and so we're coming at you from two different places this morning. I hope.
in the same building, in theory.
Yeah. So
You're
so
already
we
doing
are
better than
here.
Pastor Scott.
Say it again.
You're already doing better than Pastor Scott.
Well, him and Pastor Scott and Pastor Brad are just they should be the IT department at our
Yes,
church. So
that would be beautiful. It
um,
is. It is Friday, March what? Just in case anybody's wondering.
I have to look at my watch. Yeah, March 27th. Isn't that
All
crazy?
right, I think that's right.
So I told my girls last night they should never break the law because they would be do a terrible job being locked up.
Yes, lose
So
their mind.
be very careful.
Yeah. Hey, Nicole.
Well,
All right.
let's go ahead and get started this morning with some of the things that here around Liberty Heights Church. I feel like we're busier in some ways than normal. Pastor Brad sent a message the other day and said, "Hey, in our downtime," and we're all like, "Who's got downtime right now?" So,
Yeah.
and he's out putting on social media about watching Netflix and looking for Netflix shows. So, not sure what's going on in the Cunningham household, but we've been running around like crazy. We've been taking really some of the downtime, honestly, to get some things done that we can't otherwise do. And then some of the missional opportunities, and then trying to figure out the whole social media platforms. And Kyle, you've been going crazy with that. So tell us a little bit about what happened last Sunday, because we had a little bit of hiccup.
We did. So one of the issues was just streaming in general. There were so many churches online last Sunday that it bogged the entire system down. So the initial service that we used to get our live stream out to the website and to Facebook pretty much crashed last weekend. So we've upgraded to a new streaming service, and we should not have any trouble at all this weekend. We might still. I'm not going to make any promises. There's always a chance, but things should go a lot smoother this weekend. In fact, we've also added a YouTube option where you can actually watch us live streamed on YouTube. So if you go to YouTube and look up Liberty Heights Church, you can actually go to our channel. You can subscribe to it and hit that bell icon so that you can be notified when we do go live. And then all of our midweek streams will also be there as well. But you can use that to stream with your Roku, any of your smart devices to your television, so you're not all gathered around a little cell phone. So
Yep, and we went and tested it out. So literally, you just go on YouTube and you search Liberty Heights Church. It's the first thing that comes up.
Yeah, you'll want to grab the channel that has our icon on it, because there are some other Liberty Heights churches, and there's also some channels that are ours from the past that we no longer have admin control over. So look for that icon of Liberty Heights Church.
That logo you'll see. And here's something cool too. The more people we can get to subscribe to that, it opens up some features for us as well. And so don't just go and watch it. Go ahead and subscribe to it, and that's a big help for us and some of the capabilities that it gives us. So the more people, the better on that platform for sure. So last week I think the service that we were using had offered reached out to a lot of smaller churches and offered free services, even though we weren't part of that deal. And then all the other people that were hoping to use it as normal kind of got a hiccup. So lots of different options this week. And here's the other thing, hey, can you tell if Pastor Brad's watching yet?
I don't see him on yet. He's probably still sleeping.
Let's keep this between us and just the people on here, okay? So at the beginning of Pastor Brad's sermon last week, he said he was going to teach for 20 minutes. And I think he missed that.
Yeah, maybe by a few.
By double. So this week, here's our goal. Our goal is to go a little bit shorter. So I'll be teaching this week, and we'll be about 20 minutes, and then we'll spend about 5 or 7 minutes walking through the discussion questions. And so Shannon has told me.
You're publicly making that commitment right now. I mean, that's
what's
dangerous. That? You're publicly making that commitment.
Well, listen,
right
Brad's an ad-libber.
Yes, that's true.
Brad
you
likes
got your script.
He can chase rabbits more beautifully than any of us. And so I only say that in love, of course. But we'll be we're just tightening up a lot of things. We're feeling our way along in the social media platforms as well. And it's really neat what's happening, I think, Kyle, with a lot of churches, and it's just really increasing our presence and really increasing our relevance and really helping us grow in that technology. Just that all the stuff that's out there, and there's a lot of neat new things that don't cost a lot of money, like they
It's been wild. I mean, the amount of homes we've been able to be in this week blows anything out of the water that we've ever done before. So, I mean, it's definitely proven that just because we've been slow to the game and getting here, and now we're on like hyper speed getting here, we've been able to share Jesus with so many people this week, even though we're all quarantined. So, even with our life groups, I mean, it's been amazing to see our life groups still meeting, and just the stories coming out of those groups
Yeah.
has been incredible. People are having more authentic conversation on a webcam than what they have been live and in
Yeah.
person. It's been a crazy thing to see.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. Our group met last night.
Yeah,
In fact, you and I both used the same
yeah,
app, and I was like, "Who is Evan's life group?"
yeah,
And Shannon said the same thing. Evan, I don't know an Evans, and then it's Kyle's life group, and they met earlier in the day, and then our group met last night. And man, it was great just to see faces. We had 9
it
people
was.
log in. I
Yeah,
mean, we were able to kind of share stuff.
yeah,
One guy kind of went out in his car. He called it his isolation chamber.
yeah,
And it was just the ability to go out there and speak freely and talk about some of the things and the
yeah,
struggles and the things that we're all wrestling with. And
yeah,
man, we've always said that discipleship goes up as vulnerability goes up.
yeah,
And we are discovering the vulnerability on this platform.
yeah,
We hope it has some lasting change and
yeah,
lasting effect here. And so we plan to
yeah,
use this well beyond the coronavirus. So
definitely.
that's pretty exciting. Well, let me talk a little bit about the dreaded G word of giving. And I have the distinction at this time of carrying the title pastor of Giving Ministries. And
So,
we found ourselves in a great place that we weren't in that desperate situation where the first 2 weeks of this crisis we had to go put a lot of energy behind our giving platform and how to give online. And a lot of churches, a lot of
yeah,
smaller churches, I have a lot of friends I spoke to this week don't have online giving, and they are in an incredible hole as a church. And so we're so blessed. I mean, people have continued to be generous, but now we do need to get in a little bit of a routine here. And so let me just give you a couple quick numbers. I know some of you just fell asleep as soon as I said that. But each week we have a budget need of $45,000. And the first week, our offering was about $35,000, which is an amazing online offering,
yeah,
especially when you're not taking any checks in an offering plate. And then the second week was about $25,000. So a little bit of a dive there. Together in these 2 weeks, we're about $30,000 under budget. Now, are we doing everything in our power to cut back on expenses? Absolutely. We have that great big building that we've turned the heat, we've turned the air off, we've turned most of the lights off. And so we'll save literally tens of thousands of dollars there. But we still have
yeah,
missionaries that are in need of support. We still have salaries to pay. We're trying to be wise with how we do that.
yeah,
And so we have a need, and it's time we're going to have to get in a rhythm here of giving through online or mailing in checks. And so if you go to libertyheights.org, on the bottom left-hand corner of all of our all of our website pages,
yeah,
there's a little green floating button, the bottom left-hand corner. And if you click on that, that's called a giving trigger.
yeah,
And that will take you to our giving platform. It's hosted through a company called Rebel Give. And Rebel Give is designed specifically for churches. We switched to Rebel Give this year, and we have literally saved $10,000 in fees by switching to this service. And the reason why is if you give a gift through your checking account, it is totally free. It's free for you to give. It's free for us to receive. And that's a pretty radical thing in online finances. And so
yeah,
somebody said, man, I don't feel comfortable giving out my electronic, my information. I don't feel comfortable connecting into my bank account. And let me just kind of give you a different perspective. When you write a check, you're giving somebody your address, you're giving somebody your account numbers, you're giving somebody a copy of your handwriting, and you're giving somebody a copy of your signature. And so, of course, we do everything to protect that, and we know that checks are a safe way to give. But if checks are safe, then this way of giving online through your bank account is absolutely the safest way. We don't keep your information. It's not stored that anybody can crack in and hack into the system and get that. And so it's an incredible program or incredible giving platform. And so we would encourage you to do that. For those of you that still feel most comfortable, we do check the mail every day. And so let me give the address, the best address to send that to, especially for our Lebanon families. Send that to our Liberty Township campus. And that address is 7904 Princeton Road. So Princeton, like the university, Princeton Road, Liberty Township, 45044. Okay, so now we've done it. We've said it. We've put the need out there. We hate doing it.
Yeah.
It feels almost slimy in the midst of all this to say, hey, don't forget to give. I know that, man, you guys are struggling. I know that there's financial pressures,
Yeah.
but up to your capability and to how God has continued to bless you, we want to give you those avenues to continue to give. And
Yeah.
so that's the last you're going to hear of it today. And we thank you for your incredible opportunity, incredible generosity. The fact that where we're at is
Yeah.
nothing short of just incredibly generous people at Liberty Heights
Yeah.
Church.
When we really tried to push the idea that, the building is not the church, it's a movement. We're still the church. We're still active in our community. And that's not something that we're saying just to make sure that you are still bought into the program. We are the body of Christ. And whether or not we're in a building or not does not remove that call in our life and that part of our life. And so that's why we're doing all we can to gather with you, actually more than what we ever have before, using virtual. And so, I mean, it's one of those things where we don't want to forget that we are the church, and it still keeps going. There's still a mission.
Yeah, for sure.
As far as giving goes, like I wouldn't mind taking some time to kind of talk about how some of our people are giving actively, even in this season. So I know we've got several stories that have been shared. I know Patrice shared something about the seniors. Do you want to share about that?
Yeah, so we've kind of done an adopt a senior program, and hopefully, if you are a senior adult, that you've had some contact. We've also done this in Lebanon. We had a prayer meeting this past week, and for all of those that were on the Zoom prayer meeting, we handed out or passed out all of our seniors' contact information and just really reaching out to them. Shannon has a grandma that many of you know, Mrs. Ratliff, and she's incredibly lonely. She's 94 years old, and as they are at-risk community, man, they're really taking great precautions, but it is incredibly lonely. And so Patrice is part of the group that helped adopt a senior, and she said she was kind of nervous to begin this process, but has just sent us an email saying what an encouragement it's been to her. So here she's trying to be an encouragement to them. And she says it's just crazy, the opportunities to speak and begin friendships with people that I've never met, the gentleman and a wife she referred to. And so she's thankful for the opportunity that she got to engage with them. And so that was a lot of fun to hear it. And so she's praying for us. And that was a cool email. Thanks for the email, Patrice. That was a real encouragement. Susan Corthell has been helping lead a charge of dropping off some food. And she delivered food to, was it Chelsea Place at Chesterwood Village? And so that was a neat opportunity. And then we also, Michael Callahan, who is our church planting pastor in Middletown, also works at a place, I believe, called the Christian Village. And so we had an opportunity to deliver some food there as well to the workers. And so they were incredibly grateful for that and sent in some thanks. Middletown Meals, a lot of schools have stepped up to the plate and are really doing an awesome job of turning their cafeterias into these really factories for meals of kids that are, in fact, a lot of schools are doing it, not even just kids. Anybody in the community can get it. And so we decided to partner with Middletown. And so we've sent out a team, Pastor Brad and Tasha. My daughter and her boyfriend went out. My wife has gone out. And Michael Callahan is kind of leading the charge. And so they've been actually getting on school buses, trying to remain still the social distancing. And then they're going around to bus stops and have an opportunity to leave food there for people. And so that's been pretty cool as well. What else is on that list, Kyle, of some things we want to celebrate?
Real quick. So it looks like we're having some trouble on the Facebook feed, but if you guys want to switch over to the YouTube link, it might be a little bit more stable. Facebook has been having trouble keeping everything going. So if you want to check that out, you might have better luck there. So, I mean, some of the senior stuff that's happening, we know the Hurt family, their next door neighbors that moved in earlier, they're from New York, and their parents are there, and her father and cousin have both tested positive for the virus. So she is beside herself in regards to worrying about her dad, and nobody can enter into the room anyway. So they've been intentionally checking in with them and sharing Christ's love with them, doing whatever they can to help meet needs. And they have asked actually for us to join in praying for their neighbors as well.
Yeah, her name is Shawai, and I just can't even imagine. I'm worried sick for my parents that are healthy.
Yeah.
And so imagine knowing that your parents were in New York City in the epicenter of what's going on right now, and then to find out that your dad tested positive for it. So
Yeah.
we, through Becky, let's commit to praying for Shawai. And Becky, we hope that you can take this opportunity to take it back to your neighbors and say, listen, we have hundreds, if not thousands of people that are
Yeah.
willing to carry this burden for you. So
Yeah.
that's awesome. The Parados, they have some of their kids are working on pictures and planning to mail those to the seniors. And so just lots of creative ways that people are engaging.
Yeah, we
The
have several
Bears,
families doing that. I've got there's a picture of the Shabinsky girls up there making cards for seniors. We've got a picture of the McHale kids working on doing stuff for our seniors. And just so you know, there are resources that we've created at the For Our Neighbors link on our website that will allow you, if you haven't been partnered with a senior yet, that'll allow you to be partnered with one of them. If you still want to get involved in the lunch thing at Middletown, you can still do that. But we've also posted resources on our social sites that give you forms to give to your neighbors. That way you can easily start up a discussion and help them meet their needs, because as this thing continues, you know, we don't know how long it's going to be. We want to make sure that we're being as intentional as possible. So trying to give you resources, but like what Chris and I said last week, I think it was, you know, this is more not us telling you to do something, but just out of what God has done in your life, you want to share this stuff with people. So
there's a cool story. I was just in this morning at the Liberty campus. I'm at the Lebanon campus now. And the only person there was Chris Hampton. He's our facility manager, and he also works part-time at Kroger. And he's just telling me these horror stories of stocking shelves. But he has a neighbor that he's reached out to, an elderly gentleman that's at risk and that can't come outside the house at all. And so he leaves a note in Chris's mailbox every day of things that Chris can pick up for him. And then Chris, this is the first time in history that you can put something down at someone's doorstep and ring the doorbell and
run away.
Right? So,
I know.
Listen, all you Gen Xers out there, that this was the greatest thrill on a Friday night. We can now do that in Jesus' name.
We've been doing that with macarons. We do macaron door ditch. It's awesome. It's so much fun.
That's funny. Well, just so many neat opportunities. And the question that we want to ask you every week is, how are you being intentional? How is your family intentionally using these opportunities to engage with people at a time when engaging is difficult? And so I want to share just a cool story. I was invited to Fellowship of Christian Athletes. They had a live stream last night with a professional athlete. His name's Kirk Cousins. He's a quarterback for the Minnesota Vikings. And it was one of the clearest presentations of the gospel. Just so fantastic. So proud of Gary Clemens and all those here at Liberty Heights that partner with FCA. But one of the FCA directors at the end, he made this analogy. He talked through some of the numbers, and I'm not going to try to get into do the numbers of this virus, people that are affected, but you know, the millions of people that are affected, the hundreds, if not thousands, if not tens of thousands of people that will be that will pass away from this virus, and the mortality rate of it. And so I'm not trying to get into the numbers, and we all have a different idea and a different view of the numbers. But at the end of the day, we're all scared of this virus. It is a terrible thing. If you know anybody that's had it, man, it's just, they're describing it as just a 14, 15 days of total misery. And of course, there's that, the fear that it can turn into something more serious. And I've been praying for those that for Braden and for Amy, and I've been praying for Jamie on staff, people that deal with underlying issues that are just at risk. And so we've been praying for them, and we're scared of this virus. But this FCA leader last night said, the Bible speaks of a virus that is 100 times more deadly than the coronavirus. In fact, for those that don't receive the vaccine for this virus, the Bible says that the mortality rate is 100%. And of course, we know as Christians what that is, that it is sin. For the wages of sin is death. The gift of God is eternal life. And so I've accepted Jesus Christ. I have that vaccine from that virus, and I'm so grateful for it. But here's where I was convicted last night. I'm spending a lot of time and a lot of energy, and all of us are a lot of energy on Facebook, social media, talking to our friends, our family, warning them about this virus, pleading with them to be safe, pleading with our elderly parents or our older parents or our grandparents. The roles have changed. Now we're telling them to stay inside, and we're scared of this. And we're spending a lot of energy talking about it. And yet we have a virus that affects 100% of mankind, and we know the vaccine. In fact, we have a relationship with Jesus Christ, who is the vaccine. And so why am I not spending as much time and as much energy talking about that with 100% mortality rate, and versus all the time that I'm spending? Not to downplay the coronavirus, but just bring it into perspective. I have been really challenged, and so that's what we're doing. That's why we're on social media every day, trying
Yeah.
to encourage you to find creative ways in the midst of this crisis to creatively and really effectively share the gospel. So the gospel, we've always studied, is two parts. It's demonstration and
Yeah.
it's proclamation.
Yeah.
And oftentimes we demonstrate the gospel in an effort to later build a relationship to proclaim the
Yeah.
gospel. So let me tell you something that Pastor Eber did. Pastor Eber dipped into our missions funds, and he went to El Rancho Grande. Well, I guess it's El Rancho Nuevo. There in Liberty Township. If you go there after church on a Sunday afternoon, it's filled with Liberty Heights people.
Yeah.
And he took in missions money and blessed every single employee there with a gift in our way of kind of setting up a fund for those people that are hurting, and then included invitations and contact information so that we can begin that relationship and more than just demonstrate the gospel, so that we can begin proclaiming the gospel. So now we ask you to patronize, to go in and order food from El Rancho, and to let them know you're with Liberty Heights Church. And we hope that that will buy you a platform to share in some small way the love of Jesus.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Jeremy Johnson said we can call it ding dong ditching for Jesus. It's awesome.
Ding dong ditching for Jesus. Yeah, that's man. We need to get on that and trademark that real quick.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
So that is. Thank you, Jeremy Johnson.
Yeah. Well, there's one more thing I feel like that we wanted to make sure the marriage document. So 3 weeks ago, I think I was on sabbatical. We talked about sending you an email for a marriage document when we finally got all of that together and ready to go for you guys from those questions you submitted. And so that should be coming out either today or tomorrow through your email account. So if you end up not receiving it, let us know. You can send us a message or get on our LHC.life site and just go to that share card. And just let us know you didn't receive it, but you'd still like a copy, and we can make sure that that happens for you.
Now, Kyle, there's a rumor that document is 887 pages long. Is that what happened? Wait. That's the stimulus. That's the stimulus.
Yes, that's the stimulus.
My bad. But it was. We had 50 or 60 questions. Yeah. And we did really want to take the time to answer those thoroughly. And we knew that we didn't want to give you kind of that entry-level glance into what was happening. We really wanted to dive deep there. So apologize for how long that took. But Pastor Scott has really been the brains behind that, working so hard and trying to take a little bit of what's in his head and put it on paper. So thanks for your patience with that.
Yeah. So as we wrap it up, just a couple of reminders. If you want to engage in online giving, you can go to lhc.live/give. If you want to join a group, get in a community group, core group, those are still going. You can join them virtually, and we've got new leaders coming on into our system as we have gone through this week. We've had several people step up and say, hey, I want to be a part of leading a group. So you can go to lhc.live/groups for that. We'd love to have you engage us on YouTube. I think that has actually even been more stable in this stream than Facebook. So Facebook has just been overwhelmed. A couple days ago, all of the live videos disappeared from everyone's page. Their system is crashing currently in regards to live. So make sure you follow that YouTube channel. Is there anything else?
No, just pray for those that are within our congregation. Spend the time to stay in those spiritual disciplines. Man, I have found that as we get out of routine, we sleep in a little later. We don't quite set the alarm clock as early as before. And man, I've gotten out of a lot of those spiritual disciplines, and my kids can see it. I had Rachel giving me a heart check the other day. So, man, use those, stay in the Word, stay close to Jesus. And we look forward to seeing you all on Sunday morning at 11 o'clock. Try YouTube, try Facebook, or from our website as well. So we hope to join together and worship this Sunday morning at 11 o'clock.
All right. We love you guys.
See ya.